Great morning, you guys. I apologize for the technical difficulties and being late. Last night, got back from Landmark. It's a personal development course, 3 days from like 10 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. Last night, we didn't even get home till like midnight. It was crazy, and sometimes that'll have your eyes picking the wrong Zoom ID number. But no problem, we're into it, and we're going now. We got a great video today. We're going to be listening to a gentleman we just listened to a couple weeks ago. His name is Tai Lopez. And what he's going to be talking about today is how not to procrastinate. So he's going to be sharing one of his favorite books of all time by a really wise guy named Seneca. So get your notebook out. And without further ado, no more time wasted. Let's get to it. How to Not Waste Time by Tai Lopez.
Today's book of the day, life-changing one. I really mean it on this one. Seneca on the shortness of life. I picked this up. I was traveling in London and I went to Waterstones. That's like their equivalent of Barnes and Noble. I already carry so many books with me when I travel. I was like, do I want to buy other books? But I found these little teeny ones up in their classic section. It's always amazing to me. Classic books. These are books that stood the test of time 2,000-3,000 years. They're in some little rinky-dink corner that nobody ever goes to or buys. And then it just shows you how much marketing influences us, the good books, this book that's stood the test of time. And I open it up and I'm like, oh man, how is this not the book that everybody's reading? He says, you've heard the saying that life is short. But he says, it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to you for the highest achievements, if your time is well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last by death to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing. So it is, we are not given a short life, but we make it short. And we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it. Now, if you look at my notes here, you can't really see it, but this whole the second half isn't as good in my opinion, but the first half, it's like I'm trying not to circle every part of this. Now, so I'm going to go through this because the book is called On the Shortness of Life. Life is long if you know how to use it. What's the scarcest of all things? I think you could argue it's energy or time. Those are the two scarcest things. And every day you live is a diminishing amount of those left for you. Now, he says, for some people, they don't like to hear that. And I want to go through this book. This book is important enough that I'm going to go through quite a bit of it. I'll do it relatively quickly because it's very focused on what it says. But he says, if you look back at your life, right, and you go, why have I not accomplished whatever it is I want to accomplish? He says, here's the reasons, 8 reasons that you haven't gotten what you wanted out of life. Number 1, greedy activity. Number 2, dedication to useless tasks. Number 3, drinking or drugs. Number 4, laziness. Number 5, worrying what other people think of you. 6, self-imposed servitude to thankless people. Think about your dating life maybe. Spent all this, invested, or someone in your family or friends, they never gave back, you just gave to them, right? Number 7, pursuing other people's money or worrying about your own. He's saying making someone else rich or endlessly worrying about making yourself rich. But listen to this number 8 one, he says, going after no fixed goal, tossed about in ever-changing plans by a fickleness which is shifting. I've been guilty of all 8 of these, but I would say number 8 is probably the one that gets at all of us. And if you're in the 67 steps that I have, or if you're watching any of the videos that I talk about here, YouTube or podcasts or whatever, I say you have to start with defining your end game. What's the end game goal you want? Do you want to be a billionaire? Do you want to be the next Martin Luther King Jr.? Do you want to be the next Einstein that discovers new theories? Pick a goal. I was in the UK with, if you saw that video with John Lee, and one of the things I like he said the most was when I asked for, his parting words of wisdom he would leave with the planet if he was to die tomorrow. He said, I would leave, do something, even if it's the wrong thing. I was teaching in the, if you're in I've got a VIP program, and I was going through the book by Sam Walton called Made in America. And he lists out the 10 things that made him the richest man, really, of our time, maybe of all time. But he says that number one is you have to have commitment to something. So picking a goal and committing to it. Joel Salatin used to say, pick one thing, even if it's the wrong thing. So just think of these 8. You may have a tendency towards one, maybe drinking some of. Indeed, all the rest is not life, but merely time. So if you violate these 8 principles, what will end up happening? And I see this, like you go outside and just look and you're like, everybody is just passing time. They're not living life. You know that Thoreau saying, the mass of men live lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. And that's the world that you're in right now. You have to be different than that. He says, one of the things you have to start with is being not so liberal with your time. He says, you will find no one willing to share out all their money. But to how many people do we divide up our life? People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they're most wasteful of the one thing in which it's right to be stingy. So he's saying, don't be stingy with money, but be stingy with your time. If you're in a movie and it's a stupid movie, get up and leave. If you're at a party and there's no end game goal and you're around horrible people, get up and leave. Be stingy. Think about yourself. Like, I know a ton of stingy people. They're stingy when they tip a waiter. They're stingy with valet. They're stingy with charity. That might be you. What he suggests, Seneca here, great philosopher, he said, switch it up. Be liberal with those things because you can always earn those back. If you over tip somebody, who cares? You can make more money. But you can't get back time. So let's see. Keep going through. I just took out some of the tidbits. That was from page 4. Get this book, by the way. You have to buy it. A must buy. So then he goes in that we become the problem. The reason we waste is our mind is overactive. He says, generally agree that no activity can be successfully pursued by an individual who is preoccupied. So think about your life. What preoccupies you? Is it the big picture, most important things, where you're going, how you're going to get there? Or are you thinking about what you're going to wear today and, what color you're going to paint your walls, or what time are you going to that dinner with a friend? Is that really important? Because he says, since when the mind, when distracted, absorbs nothing deeply, but rejects everything when it's crammed, when the brain is crammed. See, living is the least important activity of the preoccupied man, yet there is nothing which is harder to learn. So he's saying the hardest thing for you to learn is how to live. And you've got to start, if you're writing this down, number 1, you cannot have a preoccupied mind. And if it is preoccupied, make sure you don't fall prey to one of the 25 cognitive biases, which is misweighting. Can't be thinking for hours on things that you should only be thinking about for minutes, and thinking about for minutes the things you should only be thinking about. The things you should be thinking about for hours. Your career, how to have impact in the world, is going to take tremendous time and tremendous brain power to think through. Think on that. Don't be preoccupied. But learning how to live takes a whole life. And which may surprise you more, it takes a whole life to learn how to die. Takes a while to get to that end game goal. That's what I think he means by dying. But here's something interesting on page 5. And I think he's speaking to me, and you might feel the same way. He said, the problem is you're living as if you're destined to live forever. Your own frailty never occurs to you. You don't notice how much time has already passed, but squander it as though you had a full and overflowing supply. So many people, even when I bring this up, people are like, oh, it's so negative. Like, it's not negative. It's not negative at all. It's not negative. It's realistic. He says you act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire. So, think about your brain. The amygdala part of your brain, the strongest, or one of the strongest areas in your brain, or most overpowering, I should say. The amygdala controls your fear memories. So you and I are like continually moved from right to left by fear, which he says, we act like mortals in fear. Oh, what if my husband leaves me, or my wife leaves me, or what if I go bankrupt? But then he says, in the thing you desire, like, yeah, these are my big picture goals. We go so slow at them as if they're always going to be there. I think he's suggesting fear less on some of those other things. It's going to happen. Someone's going to betray you. Don't think about it all the time. It's going to happen. I mean, try to avoid it. But when you think about your end game goals, that's where you need to build up the fear. Like, what if I don't get it? Let me work harder. And not paralyzing fear, but motivating fear. Huge differentiation. All right. How late is it to begin really to live just when life must end? How stupid to forget your mortality and put off sensible plans to our 50th and 60th year, aiming to begin life from a point at which few have arrived. He's saying, he goes through talking about, I think, Augustus Caesar, some of these great people in life, and he said all they could think about was what they would do when they retired. And that's how the world is now. It's Picasso's dichotomy. I've talked about that, for Picasso said, do not live in dichotomy, where you do what you don't want in order to save up money to have time to do things in your spare time. It's like, make your spare time and work the same. So what he's saying is that most people, and this was true thousands of years ago, and it's definitely true today, most people literally live as if they're sure they'll get to retirement. You don't know. So if you're putting off what you should be doing something has no end game goal, working in the job or dating somebody or having a friend that is not going to be there in the long run, or you don't want to be there in the long run, but you're just going, I'll do this a little longer. He's saying, how stupid to forget our mortality. He says, but if each of us could have the tally of his future years set before him, as we can of the past, how alarmed would be those who saw only a few years ahead, and how carefully would they use them? And yet, it's easy to organize an amount, however small, which is assured. We have to be more careful in preserving what will cease at an unknown point. So he's saying, if you look back on your life, or I should say first, if you could look forward and see that you only have 5 years left, 1 year left, 1 day left, maybe 50 years. I don't know. You don't know. And that's the point. How differently would you live, though, if you knew with certainty? But he said here, it's even worse, or not worse, it's even more important that you plan, because it will cease at an unknown point in my life and your life will. So he's saying, get your butt in gear. Can anything be more idiotic than certain people who boast of their foresight? They keep themselves officiously preoccupied in order to improve their life. They spend their lives in organizing their lives. Man, when I read that, I highlighted that 30 times. Are you guilty of this? Do you spend your life in organizing your life? He's saying that in a negative way. Are you directing your purposes with an eye to a distant future? But putting things off is the biggest waste of life. It snatches away each day as it comes and denies us the present by promising the future. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. You are arranging what lies in fortune's control and abandoning what lies in yours. Can anything be more idiotic than you and I planning our lives, but never living our lives? That's what he's saying. And he said the greatest obstacle to living a good life, he brought up earlier the preoccupied mind. Now he brings in a new point. It's living life with an expectancy, being sure that tomorrow you'll have a day to do something that you could do today. It reminds me of the famous saying, you're not put off for tomorrow what you can do today. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. He does not say YOLO. That's not what he means. It's not like just eat, drink, and marry for tomorrow we die. That's an Epicurean understanding. He's saying live immediately. Go towards your goal, not tomorrow. You might not accomplish your goal. You might not achieve your goal to the future, but you can start today. It's the ultimate book about eradicating procrastination.
Awesome. Epic nuggets. I really like that. It's funny because it goes so well with our weekend at Landmark. So I'm going to get into a few top nuggets, and then I'm going to get a few shares from the call. Get your notebook ready, and if you're at work and you can't share live, no problem. Type it in the chat bar. I'm excited to hear a few different perspectives. And, man, it was really good. It's so funny how this works right in. And you always hear from where you're at. But it's going right with what we were just at with Landmark. So, number one, chasing many flickering goals. He said the biggest – he went through a list of things that waste time. And he said, chasing many flickering goals. Also, Confucius said, the man that chases 2 rabbits catches none. And for me, that really, really makes sense to me, because if I'm going for all these things, I'm giving it a percentage of me. I'm giving it a divided portion of me. I'm not giving it me. And really, that for me had me focus on what's that one thing. It's kind of like a book Roxy loves. It's called That One Thing. Yo, what's that one thing? Because if you get your bullseye, that's what I tell our clients. What's your bullseye? I don't want to know 7 things. I want to know one thing. I don't want to know, well, I want to feel, look like this. I want to go here, and I want to wear this, and I want to – no. What is your one thing that is going to reverberate into a lot of other things? But we need to get a red bullseye. And once you have that focus and that clarity, then you can move towards it, and other things will start to happen. But if you have 7 points, just think of a GPS. You put 7 points in at one time, you ain't going nowhere. And this is just a metaphor for what's that one thing in your life. What's that one thing in your life, and how clearly can you see it? Because if you can't even see it clearly, how is it that one thing? So that's a big waste of time. This is another major one. He said, why are you stingy with your money, which you can make back? Money's not finite. There's all the money in the world. Why are you so stingy with that? Mad when you tip somebody too much? Or mad when somebody asks you for $1 at the corner, but you're not stingy with your time. The one thing you can never get back. The one thing that is finite. Your most important resource. I was like, damn, I never thought of it like that. I'm stingy as hell with money sometimes. I'm like, yo, we about to go park around the corner to walk instead of valet. Stingy with money. And I just lost 7 minutes. I'm not stingy with time. I was like, dang, Ty just dropped a nugget. Roxy's over here raising her arm like, damn, I told you about the valet. Okay. But also you got to be focused. But no. And that means not just like being short with people and being brief with people. He said, how much of your time are you wasted distracted? Why are you not stingy with your time when you're in front of the TV? Why are you not stingy with your time when somebody's talking negative and you're inside the gossip? Why are you not stingy with your time when people are just hanging around, not up to something? With people that are just existing? Why aren't you stingy with your time then? And I didn't even think about that, but that's true. Like if I'm in a conversation, it's not going anywhere and it's all negative. It's not that I don't want to uplift the person I do. But sometimes the best thing you can do is, yo, okay, I got to head out. Instead of sitting there and be a sounding board and then maybe even agreeing with them. That's a waste of my most important resource. And that just brought massive awareness that I had to be, as much as I'm focused on growing my income, growing our finances, growing our stability with that, I got to have abundance of my time too. That means I have to be stingy with it sometimes. Okay, and the last one I'm going to give you, this kind of goes with the landmark. And they talked about, it was a really, really deep metaphor, and you kind of got to be there for it because it won't make sense if you're not in the depth of it. But they said pretty much everything is connected in the world. Like the earth is a vacuum. There's no free space. What does that mean? If I move something over here, like think of like there was a puzzle and every single piece is in there, but you can move the pieces around. But when you move them, things shift into the other spot. Like there's no open space because every single spot is taken up. That's how the earth is with our atmosphere. No matter where, even if I move my hand here, there's air molecules all here. So I displaced some and then they moved over here. Everything is on each other. There's no like hole in the universe in the earth where there's just nothing. So what that means is when anything moves, everything moves. Because I can't move my hand here and this molecules of air just disappeared. No, they moved here, then they moved here, then they moved here, and that whole chain reaction moves everything. So everything, when I do this, I actually move the universe. But what that also means is that nothing happens until something moves. Nothing happens in me thinking about moving my arm. If I just sit here and think, I should move my arm. It'd be cool to move my arm. Let me get a workout and get my deltoids on fire. Let me move my arm. Nothing has happened yet. No, the words haven't done anything. The thoughts haven't done anything. Nothing has happened. No result. So for me, that drove home. Talking about wanting to do something, thinking about wanting to do something, planning on wanting to do something. Are you planning your life? Are you living your life? All these things have nothing to do with doing something. You know what it does? Just do it. Doing it does. Doing it. Just the act. Act. The performance is just act. It's not performance. I thought performance was like how well you do. No. How well you do is a story about your performance that you make up. To act is to act. Nothing else. No thinking, no thoughts, no judgment, no planning, nothing. Just doing. And I was like blown away. Because now that I know that action results require action, and action is just doing, it's simple. It's real easy. You just do it. Take all the thoughts, the planning, and the judgment out of it. And he said that's what holds most people back. He said, are you planning life or are you living life? You planning like someday or are you doing like someday? It's not about putting off goals for never and I'm just going to live for today, but it's like, put it like this. You got a distant goal. You got a big dream you want to achieve. You're in Herbalife and you want to reach some level of impact in your community. Put it like that. Put it like this. If today you just think, plan, and talk about it, if that's all you do today, you did nothing. You literally did nothing. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. And take away the judgment about morality or I should think about it, I should plan. It's not, we're not talking about good or bad. We are talking about facts. Nothing, no thing was done. Therefore, no result could be created. So that's why if you think about it, think about people that talk and plan and think about it all day for years, and they get to the years and they're like, damn, nothing's got done, but I thought, talked, and planned about it. Now you understand. Nothing was done, therefore nothing to be created, therefore it never happened. It never happened. And I was like, oh man, this is mind-blowing. So I know that was a little deep. Let's get a few shares. Rox, you want to share anything? You want to share about Landmark or share about what you heard so far?
Okay. So as he was talking about that, then another thing that was really like mind expanding is that all of the thoughts of who we think we are just thoughts. And a lot of the times we'll spend our whole lives defending who we believe that we are. Why? Because it's something that we said about ourselves. And the only place that exists is in language. But if you take away all the language, I'm left with nothing. And so with that, there's just so much power in the act of creating your life and really stepping out of the planning, the thinking, all these things, because they're just things. But if you were to actually step out of that, you're left with nothing. And in the place of nothing, you can create a whole world like just the way that you want. And there's no thinking about it. There's just doing it. And it's just like, I'm here, and then I step out, and then I just go out to the world, and I just do, and I act, and I start to create. And so that for me was one of the biggest things, that everything that exists, whether I believe I can do it or I can't do it, it only exists, and it's only real because I've made it to be real inside of my mind. And that's all it is. And we every single day get to decide, and we get to choose what it is that we make real. And whether we realize it or not, our thoughts they're just thoughts. They're not who we are. Because if they are who you are, how can you know that your thoughts exist? Clearly, you're not the thoughts. You're the witnessing presence that is behind the thoughts. So who is that? And so that for me was like another big aha moment. And inside of that aha moment, I'm just excited about creating and just action.
Nice. Awesome. Great. Yeah, there was so many aha moments. You got to check out Landmark. It was life expanding, life changing. All right. So let's get another share. Give me a smile. Give me a thumbs up if you're excited to share one of your takeaways.
And if you're in LA, Tuesday night, we have our final session, 6:30. We'll see you there. Message us personally for info. Let's get it. Who's excited? Give me a smile. Give me a thumbs up. Everybody's looking at me like, God, the nuggets are sinking in. Let's get it. Shalonda from Arizona. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I'm Shalonda from Phoenix, Arizona. My biggest takeaway was what you were talking about, being stingy with your time at all. Yeah, be stingy with your time at all times. Like before, I was giving my time to everybody, my friends, just, not giving time for myself, my dreams, my goals. I felt like I was slowly moving back, and I knew I was falling back, and it killed me so much. And then all of a sudden, I shifted my mind, my time. I started to get stingy with my time. Now I'm more focused. Now I'm more excited about my dreams and goals, and just putting in work, just working towards getting results. Action.
Nice. There you go. Noticed and took action on it, and then changed out your time allocation. That was dope. Great work.
Gotcha.
I see you, Shalonda, beasting it. Let's get one more share. Who's excited? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a smile. Give me a peace sign. Armani, what's up? Armani hit me with the message in the DM at like 1 a.m. Like, yo, we still have a Triple M.
Had to make sure, man. I didn't see no post. I was like, wait, is it going down?
We couldn't have our phone, like, it was no service when you get in there until, like, I posted a flyer at 1, so hopefully you guys saw it. But
got him.
Let's get it,
All right,
bro.
what's up, guys? Armani from the IE. One of my biggest takeaways was no preoccupied mind. So can't be thinking about things for hours when there shouldn't be thought about for hours, when it's more of an action. Like, don't plan to plan, just do it so you create the action. Like how kind of you're saying, if nothing is done, no result, which is big because I have very limited time on my hands. So I try to get the most, like, as far as having a plan without using all my time to make the plan.
Nice.
That's
awesome. There you go. Awesome. So Tuesday, Armani, I'm telling you, Landmark will change your life, bro. Let's talk offline, but bro, it was life changing. So now you guys get it. Be stingy with your time. He said, no Triple M. Heck yeah, you better post that flyer for Marvin and we cater to you. I know. See, and I even learned something. I was like, you know what? I get to be more focused on my action-oriented tasks without having to put all the time into it. So I could have made the flyer early, stepped out on a lunch break, and done it real quick where I had service, and now I get to learn. Okay, I get to learn. So, but now I'm going to take action on that. I'm not just going to think. I'm not just going to plan. Now I got it. We're going. The flyer will be up early next time. But just so you guys know, there's always Triple M. Every single Monday. The only time there's not is if we're on a flight and we literally can't have it. Therefore, I'll do a video, like a personal development video before and post it. So there'll always be something to start our weeks with, no matter what. It's just the flyer gets to get out earlier. And I take full responsibility for that. That's another thing. It's like taking full responsibility, not in a morality, good or bad way, but now I get to restore integrity. The integrity was, and not integrity like you say your word and you do it. No, integrity like a building that you can walk in has integrity because all the parts work to hold up the floor. That's integrity, meaning that the parts work for the whole to make it functional. So also integrity is your word. You build your life through word of integrity. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this with you. I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to be your partner, your wife, your team member, whatever it is, your teammate. That's your word. And then when you don't do your word, it like breaks the integrity. It's like if a wheel had no spokes, it would collapse because it has no integrity. So your words and your actions are literally the integrity that holds that together. So I broke integrity without the flyer and then being a few minutes late because of the wrong ID and being late this morning. So I restore my integrity by saying I'm committed to every single Sunday having the flyer out before 8 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm committed. I restore the integrity of having Triple M 8 a.m. sharp every single Monday morning at 8 at Pacific time on this same Zoom ID. And I apologize for the past, and I'm restoring integrity. And now what it is sometimes people will have things happen and they never restore integrity. They just try to sweep it under the rug or they say, oh, let's move on, and they don't complete the past. But it's always there with you. If I didn't say anything, I just hopped on this thing this morning, you guys would be like, yo, man, you didn't say nothing about, being 9 minutes late. And the thing is, it's not about the 9 minutes late. That's what I want you guys to get. It's about the things in your life that are out of integrity with how you commit to and then how you restore that to have your life work. That's what it's about. Sometimes people's life doesn't work. And when I say doesn't work, doesn't mean you die. It means there's a difference. Working means you're thriving, you're growing, you're happy, you're purposeful, you're alive. Not working means you're just surviving. You're making it through. Like, think about the tire. You take a few spokes out and then it's not working so well, it's floppy. You can still get down the block. But you couldn't do a marathon. You couldn't do a triathlon. And it's just about what the game of your life you're up to. Are you up to down the block life? Are you up to triathlon around the world life? And if that's true for you, integrity is a must. And it's a simple thing of keeping your word, doing what you say. But then if things happen, which they will, it's not good nor bad. Things are going to happen. I was upset. I was like, dang, a few minutes late. Oh, on the wrong IT. All these things. But all I get to do is say, okay, that happened. I take full responsibility. Restore integrity. We'll be back next week, same time. Everything will be right. I take full responsibility. And then we can move forward. And the thing what happens in the past, I didn't know. So I would do it. I just go, okay, cool. We're going to grow. I'm just not going to say nothing. We're going to be good. And then those things would just start piling up, breaking my integrity. And over the long run, that would break down my life. And now I get to know we restore integrity. We live with integrity. And if it gets broken, which it will, we're not perfect. But now I know I get to restore it. I get to restore it, and I get to live from that restoration. What do you want to add?
So as he's doing that, just imagine the kind of person now that you are becoming and the person that you get to become. Because at that level, would you not be inspired by someone who is playing at that level and making a stand and standing powerful in that? Just imagine, like, it's not about like inspiring words, but who they're being is inspiring. And that's how we truly get to touch people, by who we are and who we're being inside of the moment through our words and through our actions. And that's how we actually have an impact on people.
Mm-hmm. So you enroll people in, now that you're talking about integrity and you're living integrity, you're not even just talking about it, you're living integrity and you're enrolling people in that. You start to literally change the world because you're enrolling people in a new possibility, and then that becomes a new agreement. If you enroll all your friends and family, hey, we're going to have integrity, we're going to do what we say, we're going to stay connected, we're going to speak and communicate openly, and then that becomes, they say yes, and then you do it, remember, you got to do it, the action, then that becomes your guys' new reality. And you literally change the world for you.
And enrolling people into what you're up to. You know, one of the biggest things I know for me personally, when I've taken any kind of change inside of my life, people weren't agreeing to my change, like my family, because they see me as who I used to be inside of the things that I said about who I was. But when I tell them, this is who I am in this new possibility, and this is like, and I enroll them into what I am up to, then it becomes so much more different instead of trying to fight the current and going against the current all of the time because there's no enrollment.
Yeah. They're still trying to treat you like the old you, and you think you're the new you, but you're not the new you if people don't interact with you like the new you on a consistent basis to make it real for you. Like, you can go around saying, yo, my name is Bob all day. Yo, my name is Bob all day. And you'll really believe it for a day or two. But if years go by and nobody calls you Bob, nobody says, hey, Bob, what's up? There's no agreement inside of your living as Bob, then you're not Bob. You may be Bob to you, but to everybody else, and remember, this is a shared reality. This just isn't your planet. This is a shared reality. So you're Bob because you haven't enrolled anybody, or you're not Bob because you haven't enrolled anybody in that, and then acted on that agreement. This is so crucial for Herbalife, for all the people that are Herbalife wellness coaches on here, and all the people that are clients on here. Anybody that you're changing your lifestyle, if you're just getting fit and you don't enroll your friends, your family, your partner into, hey, you know what? I'm going to be taking on some new habits. I'm going to be the kind of person now that wakes up in the morning and has my shake as breakfast every single day. I'm going to be the person that when we're out, I order a salad and get a water and put my lift off in it every time. I'm going to be the person that when Tuesday and Thursday Fit Camp is here, I'm going to use that Tuesday and Thursday night for Fit Camp to better my fitness. I'm going to be that new person. I'm excited to be the possibility for us to do it together, or you to know me as that. And if you were to enroll people, or maybe you're a wellness coach, you're like, hey, I'm creating a new possibility. Family, hey, I'm not going to be able to be at every single function because I'm going to be working on my wellness coaching business with Herbalife to grow my impact, to grow my finances, to grow my maybe part-time to full-time. I'm going to miss a few events. I'm going to be up early. I'm going to be gone late sometimes. I'm going to be gone some weekends at events training. You might see me with some new clothes that have a 24 on it. You know, I might have to eat differently at the table because maybe our choices of food don't align right now, but I'm creating a possibility that it does. And now they'll know you like that, and they'll treat you like that. They'll be like, okay, I'll understand why he's not at every event or the family. I'll understand why maybe he's up early on his phone watching these people talk. I'll understand why his eating habits have changed, why certain things used to be okay aren't okay for him anymore. And instead of being like, damn, what's up? Let me treat him like the old him because they remember you like the old you. They don't know. And if they keep treating you like the old you, which they're only going to do because that's all they know, then in agreement, you are the old you. You are the old you. Until you enroll those around you in the new you, the transformed you, the possibility of your new future. And every time that you and them interact inside of that new possibility, it strengthens the agreement of the new possibility. Every time they look at you at dinner and smile when you order a salad because you said you were going to order a salad, that strengthens the new healthy you. You're like, okay, I am this person now. And not to mention, you're creating the possibility for them and enrolling them in, damn, they are the new pot. They are changing. Maybe I can change too. You just created that possibility for them because of who you're being. So powerful to get that, because I'm going to tell you, when I first started Herbalife and wellness coaching, it was like, and it was like, oh, you didn't know I don't do this no more? You didn't know I'm like this? And I got mad when people didn't treat me like the new me because I was thinking all about me. They don't know. They should know. They don't know. And I got mad. I got mad at friends. I got mad at family. I got frustrated. And now looking back, I can see that I didn't enroll in. I thought I enrolled people with my Herbalife post. Yo, I'm rocking with Herbalife now. Ain't nobody enrolled by that. I didn't have any direct conversations. My direct conversation was, yo, you going to jump on these products. That's what my direct conversation was. It wasn't enrolling like, hey, I'm creating a new me. I'm creating some new habits that are going to be the new Aubrey. I'm creating a new career path. I didn't have those conversations in the beginning. And that's why I came up a lot of like just a lot of friction. So, and now I know that anytime I want to create a new Aubrey from this, because you're always creating new yous. Now I know to enroll first. And I work with Roxy, I work with your partner. I got to enroll Roxy before I'm a new Aubrey. You got to enroll the new people in your life. So hope you guys took some value from this. I know we went a little long today. Man, you guys have an epic Monday. I'm telling you guys, this is what Landmark does to you. It sounds crazy, but it is. Because crazy is different from your normal. And that's what it is. This is different from normal for us. We've never experienced this or gone through a thing like this where we are exposed to new like this at this level. It's crazy.
Let's go, Susie.
Let's get it. And it's all over the country and world. So don't be saying, yo, I'm in another thing. There's the thing. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get this money. I'm about to go take some action right now. Move the universe.